Right, we're on. Yes, people, welcome back to Process. Today we're joined by another guest, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Jack Robson. Welcome to the podcast, mate.
Thank you very much, Brendan. It's nice for you to have us on.
No worries, mate.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, so we've both kind of been through similar sort of scenarios. Obviously, you're at Newcastle playing football, and then we've both went down certain paths differently. But for people who don't know who you are...
We've both been released.
Yeah, we've both been released. Cut straight to the chase there. We've both been released. But for people who obviously don't know who you are, just tell us a little bit about yourself briefly.
Right, so my name's Jack Robson. You might have seen us on Instagram, might not have, as the weird kid who raps and that. But on Instagram, called J-Rob. I've played football all my life. I still play football, but I've recently started music. I'm loving it. People probably didn't see it coming, but it was always the plan. 20 the other day as well, so I'm still a bit hungover, and this is 3 days after, so that was a good night. But yeah, there's nothing much more to the story here.
Yeah, I know he's a character. That's one thing we can definitely tell. But like you touched on your music about pursuing your passion stuff. We'll touch on that later on. But I want to dive back in, all the way back to the start. Like we started about talking about football. When did you first get into football, and how did it kind of develop? Obviously, signing for Newcastle when you were a young age.
When I first started playing football, to be fair, I didn't even start playing until I was 9 or something. I didn't really even care about it that much. You know, when you're just weirdly good at something.
Yeah. I wouldn't know, to be fair. I wouldn't know about that, but
no,
yeah.
I wasn't even that good when I first started, but I didn't really care for it. I was just I don't know. I think it was just my brother got us into it. I was playing for Wickham Fellside when I was 7 or 8 or something, but I was crap. So I started playing properly when I was 9 because I didn't really get a game. Went to City Juniors, obviously Warren, shout out the big man, was the coach. Under 12s, went to Middlesbrough when I was 12, was there for a year and a half, got released. Shock. No. Went to Middlesbrough, played there, went back to Newcastle City, had a little growth spurt, got a bit stronger. Then, since then, went to Newcastle when I was 13, turning 14. That was about 6 years ago. Then I was there for 4 years. Got released in 2018. Went to America, came back, started at the very, very bottom. Literally, I was playing for Blythe Reserves. And then, luckily, Louis Story at Heaven rang us saying, "What you doing? Do you want to come train?" I was like, "That sounds very good." Went to Heaven, and it just that was the breakthrough for football-wise. And went to Heaven, found it. I always played well, but obviously it's a men's league. You know, they're gonna play lads who are older, more experienced. Even if you might think in your head they're not as good as you, it's always the case. So it took a while to get going, but once I got going, ended up getting Young Player of the Year in, I think, was it? I think it was might have been the Chronicle actually. I think it was in the Chronicle. They do a Young Player of the Year, Team of the Season. Got Young Player of the Year, which was really good. I was really, really happy with. And then now currently at Morpeth, signing for Morpeth in December. So that was a good step up. In a few weeks higher, and then I'm just there now. Yeah. So
a lot of ups and downs along the way. Yeah, a lot of ups and downs.
Tell, it's never. All people see, it's like the iceberg. People just see oh, he's doing well, or someone puts on Instagram a goal they've scored, they just think, oh, he's doing well. But it's never that, is it? You know that yourself.
People never see the true story of what you actually go through. They only see that Instagram. You talk about Instagram, social media. That's the highlights reel. That's only what people.
Yeah, exactly.
Obviously, a lot of people don't put the bad days on. like on Instagram, it's always the highlights. Like you talk about football,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
the goals you score, the passes you make, and stuff like that. So talking
You're
about
never gonna, yeah, you never put the stitcher pass on you, mate.
Nah. I could have a few highlights of that.
I see the 5-yard miss in front of an open goal. That, you know.
Yeah, I know, but like, there's another thing we could talk about there, like how you went from being at Newcastle, then obviously going away, and then going through some tough times, then coming back to it. You've actually a lot of lads who do go to like the likes of like Premier League clubs, like Newcastle. They don't want to go and play non-league football after that. They think
It's ego.
Oh, I'm not. Oh, massive ego.
It's
like you
ego
don't.
thing. I'm not even gonna lie. Like the only reason I wasn't like that is because my dad is like he goes all over. He says he'd rather go and watch Northern League than go and watch Newcastle. He can get in, have a pint, and just stand there and watch. So I've known all about it. So I never went in with that ego. I knew how tough the league was, but a lot, and I mean, there's a lot of players who have been released, or even players who might still be at academy clubs who. Not necessarily that they're not good enough to play normally, because they are 100% talent-wise. They'll be the best player there, but they don't understand that this is a different type of ball game.
Yeah.
It's like people are playing because they're getting paid money that is going towards their family. These are 30-year-old people with blokes who have kids, and they are playing lower, not just my league, lower leagues, football league, conference. These people are playing for their families. You're getting 1-year contracts at the most. Some are players you play, like you're playing, you realise that football is that people are actually providing for their family and stuff. It's not just like a flex. Like, you look at me, I play for these. But that's where the ego thing comes in. I think people sharp realise, Jesus, they'll get snapped. They'll try to do too much on the ball. They'll get snapped and they're sharp, get a reality check. But it's a very tough league physically. That's kind of why, obviously, I'm on here. But like the link between gym and playing at that league is massive.
Yeah, and it's a lot more physical than like I remember when we were in Newcastle and we always used to play in the Senior Cup. Like we always used to play against like the Northern League teams and like North Shields and stuff like that. We used to get done in off them because especially when it was at their place. When it was at our place, the pitches were perfect and stuff, and we could play our game. But when we were at their place, like cold Tuesday nights, like the pitch is bobbling, raining, like lads don't want to turn up because they're just like, oh no. Don't want to like.
They don't at all. And like you say, it's a massive ego check. There's lads who are like, oh, I'm too good for this league. I'm not dropping down. And the thing is, yes, okay, you might be too good for that league, but if you can't prove yourself, in those leagues, then why would someone in a Championship Premier League team take a chance on you? If you're not even willing to drop all the way down, get rid of the ego and show, look, like, this is how good I am. I'm doing it in these leagues. Like, it should be the opposite. Do you know what I mean? Like, because at the end of the day, that's football. The step up from 18s, 23s, the men's football is massive because I don't think 18s and 23s is competitive enough. And then like you say, they're playing the Senior Cup. So I think Morpeth before the season before I signed played the 23s. I can't remember the scoreline, but I think it was like 3-1, 3-0 or something.
Yeah.
And like speaking to lads at Morpeth, that just say like you can tell that technically they're very good players, but they're just young lads who don't have that competitive edge.
Yeah, it's complete different mentality in the academy, and I've talked about with Smithy, who I've had on the podcast. We talked about there's different ways of kind of making it in football. You can either obviously do the academy route and then you straight into the first team. Like you see so many lads that like that, and I think lads who do that, it's probably the only pathway for them because I don't think they could go out on loan and go and play the Northern Leagues or like go and play even like Conference League 2. I don't think they could go down to that level and then work the way up because they maybe don't have the mentality for it, or maybe like
absolutely
just, like the physical presence and stuff. It's a completely different game. That's why you get like
Absolutely,
the
I say
Marcus,
that. Yeah,
like Marcus Rashford
yeah,
and stuff. Like it would have been really interesting to see him start at the bottom and
yeah.
work his way up rather than go straight
That's a
in.
very good. That's a very good observation, and I think like it's mad because there is players who like most players who do end up going on loan struggle in lower league clubs. But it's not even that they're a bad player. It's just not even. It's not the same type of football.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like it's so mentally challenging and it can get frustrating.
Yeah.
But when you're when I'm a wing and I'm coming up against big blokes who are absolutely just trying to crunch us in half and that, like it's challenging, and I think humbling yourself is the best thing you can do because you'll prepare yourself for that. But when there's players who drop down in these leagues and they've got this ego, they're always going to struggle. So my advice to anyone who's been released or to anyone who's going on loan is the first thing you've got to do is just drop the ego.
Yeah, ground yourself 100%.
Yeah, ground yourself because people don't care where you've been. They don't.
Yeah.
Like literally, honestly, you've got that behind you in Newcastle. Like I've got Newcastle behind us and stuff, but they don't care. It's what are you doing for them now? If you're playing well for them, they'll play. You'll play, but even then, you don't play because you're young. So like it's all of that. It's tough, man. But I wouldn't change it. It's made me the person who I am. 100%.
Yeah, you do need those experiences to humble you. I think like I was the same when I left Newcastle. I was in a mentality like, right, I've been at Newcastle for so many years. That's the level I want. Like that's the level I kind of set myself at level. Even though obviously I knew I'd been out injured and stuff for a long time, so I did need to prove myself. I still had that like ego with me, which I carried with me. It took us a kind of probably a year or two to kind of get rid of it, like completely. Looking back on it now,
100%. I look back and like, and it's not a bad. Like you have that ego because you're like, oh, I play for Newcastle, I belong here. Like you want to prove people wrong, but you kind of want to fast track it. You know what I mean? Like you want to get there straight away. Just stay patient. Look at the statistics of players who play in the Premier League. They're more. There's a stat, but like I think most players made their debut when they're like 22. So like if you're 17, 18-year-old, like stop trying to fast track it because you've got so much time. Yes, people say like, oh, but I want all this money and everything that comes with it. But at the end of the day, like if you get released and you can't find another club, dropping down is kind of what else you're gonna do if you don't drop down? Stop playing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I know.
You've got to like, and it's the best thing you can do. And I wouldn't be like I've totally improved and I'm a completely different player now to what I was. Yeah. Because of playing in them leagues, the best thing that happened to us.
We have to adapt to the different kind of style of games and stuff like that. In a way, like if you're not open to adapt and change your game, especially it's like the same having different managers. If you're not open to kind of do what that manager wants, then you're not going to get anywhere in that team. Like even if you believe that your style of play is the right way to play, and the manager's got a different view in it, you're gonna have like the manager's the one who plays it at the end of the day. And if you don't play, then no one else is going to see you.
No, exactly. And I think as well that football is just opinions. So you've got to have thick skin. So if like for instance me, like I have no hard feelings. So Dave Watson was the under 18s coach, and like at the end of the day, I know he didn't rate us because I don't think I was his type of player. But like, there's no hard feelings. It's just opinions. It's like if someone didn't like my music, do you know what I mean? I'm not going to hate them for it because it's opinions. Like, but there'll be one manager who doesn't like you and there's one who does. That's football, and that's how people get their breakthroughs because they've got the right manager and stuff. So I think you've always got to keep faith because somewhere someone will really, really rate you and value you. It's just finding that place. It can take a while. It can take a while.
Yeah. So you talked about ego before. So I feel like the reason why, especially young academy players in like the Premier League teams, kind of carry that ego and expect things to kind of happen for them. Kind of even when you get released from a big club at like 18, even 16, 18 or 20, 21, like myself, you kind of think, oh, I'll be fine. Like, I'm going to find somewhere like I don't know, like a Rangers or a Sunderland or somewhere like that, or like anywhere else, you're going to find somewhere to go to. I feel like that's kind of instilled in you because at a young age, especially for me, I felt like things just kept on happening. Like I was 12, right? I got another year in Newcastle till I was 13, the same when I was 14. Got to 16, right? I got my 2-year scholarship. Got the 18, and then I got an extra, I think I got a 3rd-year scholar. And then from there, I just got it, like, and then I got another 2-year pro after that. Like, I just felt like, obviously I was working hard in a sense, but I just felt like things just happened. Like for me in football, I feel it's a weird kind of industry. It's a weird business in a sense. If in any other business, you kind of have to earn that right, especially in like the self-employed sort of world. You have to kind of work really hard to get to that next level.
100%.
Whereas I feel in football, obviously you still have to perform well and work on stuff, but I feel like a lot of things aren't given to you, especially at the higher levels.
100%.
Which is why I felt like, especially when I left Newcastle, I was in the mentality like, oh, I'll be fine. Like, oh, my agent's going to sort us out this deal somewhere, and I'm going to sign somewhere. And obviously, like, it's
doesn't
like
happen
9 times out of 10, it doesn't happen. Like, obviously, there will be times where it does happen.
That's the biggest lesson I think this year that I've learned about life as well, though, what you're hinting on there. Like, I always used to have the total opposite mentality where I think, oh, like, it'll all just work out for us, and someone will give us the opportunity. Like, it'll all work out. But then I had like this euphoria where I was like, well, hold on, wait a minute. Like, yes, you value yourself, so like you know yourself how good you are at something, but how do other people know how good you are if you're not willing to prove it? You've got to literally put yourself out there, drop the ego, go places that you don't. I'm allowed to swear.
Yeah, of course you can swear, mate. Get it
like,
out.
Go like the shittiest places. Like on a Tuesday night, you're playing on a molehill. Do you know what I mean? Like literally, like pissing down the rain. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you have to get over that, because if you can't prove yourself then, and I'm talking for released players, because luckily some people have the pleasure of not having to go to them places on a Tuesday because they're living in their lavish professional contracts and that. So like, you know what I mean? Fair play. But if you do, grasp it with both hands, use it as an experience, because if you might think yourself, yes, this is how good I am, but no one is gonna, do you know what I mean? No one's gonna take a chance on you if you're not even proven what you can do. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, you've got to prove yourself at every level, like we talked about before. Like, you can't just turn up and expect things to happen. Just because you've got a name like, all right, I'm so and so, and I was at Newcastle since the age of 9, and now I'm 20 years old, and like that should count for something. No, it doesn't mean nothing. Like, what counts is what you do the next following Saturday or the next Tuesday night or whatever it does. That's the only thing that counts.
Exactly.
Like,
it's what have you done for me now? That is it. It's literally like, that is football. You see people who are on top of the world because they're playing well, and then boom, injury or not form, lose form, and then they're forgotten about. No one cares about them because it's, what are you doing for me now? That's why you're only in it for yourself. I say in my song, don't know if you've clicked on, but I say, used to think higher powers would guide me through life till I realised there's no church in the wild. A little lyric for you there. There is no church in the wild. You've got to do it yourself. No one's going to do it for you.
Exactly. That's another big thing on football, especially when you get released and stuff. Don't rely on your agent too much, because there's, like, as soon as you're not at that big club, there's a lot of that kind of. I feel like if you're not at that big club and they don't see that potential. Like, it's business at the end of the day. If there's no potential there, they're not going to like help you. So, like, once you're going to get knocked down into a certain level, like dropping down a few levels, or
you
have
knock
like
your head down as well. Exactly.
Yeah, in their kind of like tally of players that they've got, you're their lowest priority. So like, you have to put the work in yourself.
100%, because like, you literally have to stand out so much. It's like, what is it? 1% of people make it as a pro, but like you say, no one cares where you've been. It's brutal, but it's true. No one cares who you are. No one cares where you've been. It's, are you going to basically, like, if you're going to a new club, what are you going to do for this club, for you to make us want to sign you and give you our club's money? Like,
Exactly.
do you know what I mean? It's money, like you said, business, it's money talk. Like, it's a job. You've
Yeah,
got to
it's a
really
business, isn't it?
stand out and grind, man.
Yeah.
It's not, people aren't going to give you that chance if you're not, like, willing to just knock your head down and just get grafting.
No, exactly, mate. Exactly. So, want to go back to like when you first got your scholarship. So you're 16, obviously still in school. What was your
Yeah.
mentality what was your mentality when you first got that scholarship, and then also your mentality going into the scholarship?
I was like, oh, class this, man. Gonna be a footballer, me, like, telling everyone, telling the lasses and that, you know, do you want me autograph now? No. No, but you go in and you just like, don't know, it's like, it just feels a bit surreal, doesn't it? Especially when you're like 16, because it's like, you're getting paid before everyone else, all your mates, like don't have jobs, because to be fair, you're only 16, not many people do at that age. But you're getting paid, playing football every day. It is good. I don't think that, I think people glorify it more than what it actually is, because I would say that I experienced, in my, obviously not everyone's the same, but in my experience over that 2 years, I experienced double the amount of downs that I did ups. Because a lot of the time you just feel lonely, stressed, whatever. So much happens. But like, you go in with that fresh mindset when you're 16, you're like, oh, this is going to be mint. Like, I'm just going to like get there and it's going to be sound. And then you get there and you're like, just realise straight away, like, hold on a minute, it's going to be a bit harder than I first anticipated. And then you realise in your first year scholar, when you're not getting played at all because all the second year scholars are playing, then you're like, oh, this is crap.
Yeah, I think it's because at that age, like that's when it turns serious. Like I remember at 16s, you would kind of everybody would get a fair share of games, and then when you get to even when you're a scholarship, even if you're a first year scholar, you don't really get a taste because the second year scholars will play. It's literally the best starting 11 that will play no matter what. Like maybe if you haven't played a few games every so often, they'll like throw you in for a friendly, or they'll throw you in off the bench and like one of the league games or something. But it literally is the starting 11 will play, and I think a lot of young lads they get the scholarship and they just expect to kind of be playing all the time. It's a reality hit. And then when they get
and
asked
that's fine. That's fine to think that though, because I think you've got to have that cutting edge as a footballer. Like when I didn't play, I would always ask why I'm not playing. Not in like a malicious way, like why aren't you playing? As like, do you know how good I am? Because I would, you know, it's not who I'm like. But I would always ask in a polite manner, like, why am I not playing? What can I do to get better? Like, that's fine. That's totally fine. You need to have that about you. But when you're letting it get to you and you're letting it ruin your day, or if you don't get played on a Saturday, you haven't been picked and you're still thinking about it the week after, that's not doing you any good, is it? Do you know what I mean? So
yeah, I wish when I was younger that I didn't really have that in me to go and take the court out. Why was I playing? I was quite, I don't know, I was always a bit more in my shell. I felt when I was younger, I was
timid,
like a nice lad sort of thing. I didn't really want to go up, which I think as a young lad, I think football, you need to learn that quick. The quicker you can learn to stand up for yourself, because you are your own business. Like you're self-employed as a footballer, literally.
Exactly.
People's minds,
especially at that age. Especially at that age, like you've got mates in football, but you at the end of the day you're playing for yourself, and like you've got to literally do everything that you can to get there. And if that means talking to the coach and that, you kind of just got to cut yourself out of being the person you are at times, and just like you say, like, yes, some people might be quiet. I'm quite a confident person. I'll always like to just ask people questions. People say like, you know, like that's who I am. I don't mind doing that. But even if you are a shy person, it's good to ask questions, because it kind of like, it shows them, well, like, he obviously cares. Do you know what I mean? He wants to be playing. If you're just like going by like, oh, I'm being picked, oh well, I'll just work hard and train and not say anything, then if that's your approach, fine. But I think you need to have a bit more like aggression, a bit more passion about you, because like you say, you're your own business. You've got to stand out above the rest, because like I was touching on before, they're only going to pay you will give you the contract if you're doing it for them.
Yeah.
You've got to do everything. It's the little things. Speak to them. If you're not playing, ask them why. Why am I not playing? What can I do better?
Yeah.
Go away and actually execute it. Have some integrity. Don't just do it because you think everyone's watching. They're going to look out on the field and think, oh, look at him doing extra. He's meant to. Like, do it with integrity. Do it because you want to get better, not because you want to impress other people.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are like that as well. They don't have enough integrity, especially at that age. You're like, because before being guilty of it, you're like, I'm going to do extra. So if anyone's watching out, if the gaffer's watching out the window, it's going to think, oh, look at him, he's graphing. But half the time, like, they don't. And it should be expected of you to put extra. So have some integrity, and like, if you are truly passionate about what you do, then you'll want to do it. And if you're not doing extra and you're not putting that work in, you need to have a think to yourself, like, why?
Yeah.
Because especially at that age, like, it's like, it's cutthroat. Like, you can get clicked off like that. You need to do everything and look back at the end and be like, I've got no regrets. And I look back at my time and I have absolutely no regrets, because I know in my heart I put everything into it. I got released, but I'm not. I never one day ever think that I'll regret it, because I know I've done everything I could. It just didn't work out.
Yeah.
And but I can live. You can live with that, can't you? Know what I mean? You can live with that. I'm sure you're the same. I used to see you in the gym every day. Very, like, one of the most resilient people that you'll meet, which is, like, honest, very, very admirable. Like,
Appreciate
in the gym every day, working. It's frustrating, but you always had a smile on your face. And I would like to think I try to be like that too. I had a few injuries, but you just got to keep smiling. And like you say, if you've got no regrets, then don't be upset about it. People are going to say, oh, you got released, you're obviously shut up. Like, people say that, just think to yourself, what have you done with your life? Do you know what I mean? Like, you're probably sitting at home trying to prestige on COD and that, and there's no wrong with that, but if that's all you're doing, then, like, you need to have a look at yourself, you know what I mean? But, like, so the people who are saying that, are you always, the people who say stuff like, oh, you got released, are always the ones who are actually not doing anything themselves. Someone who's doing well is never going to say that at you, because they're not actually asked, because they're doing well themselves. They've got nothing against you because they're doing well themselves.
Yeah, so there's always gonna people have a go at you and say stuff, but like you said, they're the people who don't have anything else to do with their life. Like, they're wasting. They're the people who are on Instagram commenting.
Yeah, exactly. And like I always say, right, and this gave us the confidence to do what I'm doing now with the music, because like, it is. I understand people. Like, I'm not totally stupid. Like, people take the piss out of us all the time, 100%. But it doesn't faze us, and I would say I've got quite thick skin to it now, where I just kind of laugh. It's because it's like, as long as you've got that group of mates around you who fully support what you're doing, that's all you need. And I always think to myself, you could have the most normal job in the world. You could literally, no disrespect to postman, but you could literally be a postman, the most normal job ever. You know what I mean? You're just going around putting posts through the door, nice relaxed job, and people will probably still take a mick out of you for being a postman. And you're thinking, like, well, it's a pretty normal job. Do you know what I mean? Like, you could work in an office.
If you're happy doing that.
Yeah. You could work in an office, and like, the majority of people work in an office, and people will still take the mick out of you for working in an office. Do you know what I mean? So whatever, what I'm trying to say is, whatever you do, you're just going to get judged. So, and you've got to think, when I'm 80 years old and I haven't seen these people in 40, 50 years, am I going to sit there towards the end of my life and think, oh, why I didn't do this because someone who told me that I shouldn't, who was completely irrelevant in my life, and now you're looking back totally regretting it because irrelevant people have told you not to do something. You know what I mean? It's like longevity, think the long term. Are you, your group of friends who support you are the ones who will be there for years and years, and they're the only people you need. People who say things now you're not even going to speak to in 20, 30 years time. So just laugh, man. It's like, if you don't take things to heart and you just stay open-minded, then you'll be sweet.
Yeah, I think it takes time to build that thick skin though, because like everyone when they first start out
Oh,
something, they have them like it's almost
100%.
like anxiety and like nervous, like they don't
Yeah.
want to start something
Well,
because you
I'll
instantly
ask you,
think,
like, yeah, how nervous were you to set up your fitness page? Do you know what I mean? Because it's
you're
something
like,
a bit
oh mate,
different,
I remember me setting up my
especially at the
fitness
time.
page.
Because at the time, no, I would say you were one of the first ones who really started doing it as well. Do you
Hmm.
know what I mean? But like, I would say you're more of like a pioneer now, where like people look at you and think, "Our Brent's been doing it a while." Like that'll give them the confidence to do it. But like how nervous must have you been to do that?
Yeah,
Like,
I remember because I was playing at South Shields at the time and I was injured and I kind of knew that my time there was coming to an end. So I set it up because I knew it was always a passion. Like you probably know, you knew it was always a passion of mine. So I
oh,
set it up and I
100%.
remember going to the dressing room and getting like, oh, I see you setting up a fitness account and expecting to
Yeah,
get loads and loads of stick from it. And I just like, I was so anxious because people knew that I set this
yeah.
up. But now I'm looking at it now, I don't even
So
think
what?
twice about posting something.
Yeah, people like that with like seeing you in the dressing room, like, oh, I see you set. It's just a passing thought to them. They don't mean anything malicious by it.
Mm.
Like they're not saying it because they'll probably forget the next day that you've done it. Do you know what I mean? And if
Mm-hmm.
there's anyone who's actually being like a dick about it, then that's their problem with you. Like you, it's
Yeah,
nothing really with you. They're just a weird, strange person. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Because like, and I'm glad because I think we're all guilty. Everyone judges people, and like we always say, oh, people judge. Everyone's guilty. I've judged someone before. You would have judged someone before, but you can't eradicate that. And like now, because when you start to do something that you want to do, like you're with your fitness, me with my rapping, you are much more open-minded to when other people want to do their thing. So if I
uh,
see a business page on Instagram now, I'm just like, don't even, no negative thoughts. I'm just like, fair play, well done,
yeah,
putting
just
yourself out
support.
there. Good, it's good. Just
Mm.
support. And like, how happy do you become when you like that? Like, I'm the
Yeah,
happiest I've ever been because I've no negative thoughts.
yeah. I
I
love it when I
just,
see
I'm
people like
happy about it.
start up stuff. And even the
Yeah.
thing with starting up stuff, your first bit of content, the first thing you do is it's going to be shit. Like most likely, it's going to be
Exactly.
pretty shit.
Mine was exactly. I mean, I wrote the one that I put my rap that I first put on. I wrote it when I was 17.
Hmm.
Like I was in the changing room with Adam Wilson and that, just rapping, and then and we were thinking of lyrics to put in, and then I was just like, that was. I kind of put that one on because that was the first one I'd done, and I knew that it was always going to get better from there. You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like I said, people don't want to start stuff because they think it's going to be shit. Well, it probably is going to be shit, but you're only going to
Yeah,
learn from it.
exactly.
Like you're going to look back at it.
Yes.
Like I look back at like my
Preach.
first posts, my first like even my first like PT sessions, my first classes. First YouTube video, first podcast, probably. Yeah, my first podcast didn't go down too well for my first guest, but never mind. Like
Yeah,
stuff
I know,
like that.
Jesus.
Yeah, you look
Yeah.
back and you think like I'm so
Yeah.
glad I started it then because it took me so long to actually like my first
You
YouTube
looking
video.
at like clients and you're like, why the hell did I make them do that
Yeah,
exercise?
it's like
No,
you
like,
learn everything's like well, it's a process. Like everything's a
yeah, exactly.
process.
It's
Like
good. Just
you learn as you go.
yeah,
100%.
just don't be like people. No one who ever first started something were great. No one,
Hmm.
not even like no, absolutely no one. Like,
Hmm.
but you've just got to do it, and it's like if you have a positive outlook on it, it actually means right. Yeah, you might be shit when you first start, but then if you're truly passionate about it and you're willing to put the work in and get better at it, then you will get better at it and people will realize you're getting better at it. So it's always
Hmm.
going to get better. Do you know what I mean? If you're
Yeah.
already shit at it, you can't get worse. If you're working at it every day, that your output is like going to hell
Hmm.
every day. You're not going to get worse if you're working on something every day. You're just going to keep getting better. So I don't
Exactly.
know why people put things off because they think, oh, but I'm shit at it. Like, and we're all guilty again. I'm saying people think the problem with society these days is everyone says, oh, I hate these types of people. And I think sometimes people don't look at themselves. You've got to be really harsh and honest with yourself because we're
Hmm.
all guilty of being jealous. We're all guilty of being judgmental. But if you've got it in you to look at yourself and think, well, I need to be a better person, not be like that, then you know what I mean? It's always about
Hmm.
bettering yourself. And now, like I say, I think if I seen someone setting up a fitness page like 4 years ago, because when you're younger, you probably would take the piss out of them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because it's something different. But then imagine right, so like think of some of the best fitness influencers like Bradley Simmons, who is actually like he was at QPR and stuff, wasn't he? People probably took the piss out of him, but I guarantee that not now when he's verified with his 300k followers, like training all the celebrities and that. Do you know what I mean? Like, you've just got to have that vision and think the people who are going to take the mick are the ones who will probably be like trying to get on your side when you are doing well.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I think having a good close group of people around you, like a good little support network, and surround yourself with people who like are like-minded. Like obviously you're surrounded by people with the same sort of like your friends, and like I feel like I'm starting to my friend group is kind of transitioning more to people who are doing the same thing as me. People that I connect with through Instagram and I doing the podcast and stuff like that.
Yeah. Like you've got Danny and Kitch, the Kitchen Brothers, Adam Collard, and that, like they're all doing it as well. And you speak to them people, they're all very like-minded in a very, very good way. I love being around those types of people because you're always going to learn something from them. You're always going to be motivated. And if you're I don't know if you like people say if you hang around with 5 millionaires, you'll be the 6th millionaire. And if you hang around with 5 absolute bums who want to do nothing with their life, you'll be the 6th one. And I think that speaks facts, and I totally go by that. So like you say, surround yourself with people who are in a similar environment, who are totally like-minded, and you're going to learn things from each other, and you'll help get there together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like with my music, like me and Kurt, like just talk about it all the time. And like I kind of just say to them, like, your success is my success because I know I've got you there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you do well, I actually feel successful and proud of myself because I know I've helped you get there.
No,
that's exactly how it should be.
That's what you need. Them people around you who are going to push you, but also going to tell you like when you can maybe getting off track, getting sidetracked, or maybe like what's good and what's bad.
They're the best types of friends. Like the people, and like I would much rather someone just say it was if I put a song on and they thought it was shit, I'd much rather just say I didn't like that one. But from it, I would only take that from a person who I trust. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you.
Because I know when they're going to be critical and when they're going to be like praising us. It's different when it's someone who you just don't care about because you're like, well, you're probably just like just a bit of a bellend, aren't you?
Yeah, I know. Just ignore anybody like that. Yeah. I was gonna say, I think your AirPods are dying because the sounds went a bit thingy. Just turn them off a second. Don't worry. Wait, try now. Wait, keep talking now.
Hello.
It's like going like crunkety. I don't know what the word is to describe it as.
Should I just take them out?
Just take them out. And see if it's any better.
Wait there. I'm gonna have to change all the sound settings.
We'll keep it rolling for YouTube, and then I can edit it for my podcasting.
Yeah, sweet.
Because that happens when AirPods start dying, doesn't it? I think that.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, it's still making the weird noise. I don't know why.
What type of noise?
Like, don't know, like a fuzzy noise when you speak. Yeah.
I just have a fuzzy voice.
You just got a fuzzy voice, mate. Don't know what it is. Is it are you connected to your computer audio?
No, but I've took them off. Wait there. Hello?
Sorry again? It's just the same. Don't know why. It just slowly started creeping up.
Don't know. Is it really bad?
Probably. If it's probably. We'll keep the viewers entertained while. Let's keep them entertained. I'm just gonna keep this in for the YouTube, to be fair, and I'll just cut it from my
What about now? Is that any better?
That's got worse.
Oh god!
It just keeps on getting worse. I don't know why.
No. I'll try put my AirPods in again.
Yeah, see if maybe flip over to the AirPod audio.
What about now?
It's just the same. I don't know why.
Yeah, you sound fuzzy now as well.
Oh, right. Don't know whether.
Do it in parts.
That's got really bad now.
Yeah.
Don't know what it is. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to pause this. Right, can I pause it? We're back on. Right. That's been fixed.
So how's
Problem
like,
solved.
so we're talking the other day, weren't we, about like...
Hang on 1 second. Let us, I need to press thingy on my other one. Right, we're back on.
Sweet. Back. Sorry,
Back on.
That's just my my AirPods.
AirPod situation sorted. So I wanted to talk a little bit about kind of obviously your time when your mindset when you left Newcastle, obviously getting told being released at 18 when you dedicated your whole life to something. What was your initial mentality like after that?
You know what, Brendan? I remember being released, and I wasn't actually like... I remember getting released from Middlesbrough and I was like hysterical, but
Yeah.
I was all right. But to be fair, I'd set up my plan B. Like, I knew I was going to America. If not, so I was kind of like calm, and I knew I wanted to try it anyways. I was quite happy to go to America. So I think that set, like, for anyone who does get released, like, try and set up a plan B before you do. So like, or even if it's not set up, just have a like clear idea of what you think you want to do. And then that always takes a lot of pressure off. So I wasn't actually bad. I was in a really good place when I've been released, which is good. Like, because I know not a lot of people are, but you've just got to remember when you get released that now you're training for yourself. So I know some people, I'm guilty of it myself, like, you don't go in some days if you've got fitness testing, but you're doing really, I'm not standing, like, but like, funny story, I remember, right, 18s, I stayed off. I stayed off for fitness testing because I was watching WrestleMania with the lads, and like just stuff like that. But like, you need to do it for yourself, not for anyone else. Like, you need to keep training. You keep working hard because you don't know where you're going to end up, you know what clubs you're going to go on trial to. Just, you might be like annoyed that they've released you, and you might not want to look the coach in the face in that way. That's fine. Like, but don't train. You're not trained to impress people, and you never were. You're training for yourself. So
yeah, you've always got to think about that, and don't slack off just because you know you've got something there. I think a lot of lads are like that, especially maybe if they have like a long contract, like when it's a football, like a long-term contract, people might start slacking a little bit, and then maybe coaches pick up on it and think like, hang on, like he's just got like a 3-4 year deal and he's just slacked off, and then that's going to affect you long-term, because yes, you might be safe for 4 years, when that 4 years is up, you're not safe. Like, it's not like a normal 9-to-5 job where you're realistically going to be okay long term. Like, you always, like, they always say, like, coaches always say it when you're a young lad, every day you're fighting for your career. You actually are. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, you make your impression every day, because football's a short career. You could literally, it's brutal, but you could train tomorrow and do your ACL. Do you know what I mean? And that's you not playing for a year. And if you didn't make an impression when you were fit, then and your contract's up, then your last impression on the coaches was the last time you were playing. And if it was bad, then that's not going to help you. I got my scholarship, right, and I was injured for majority of all of under 15s and quite a lot of under 16s. But when I did play, I played really well and was doing well, and that's why I got it, because honestly, like, I did not play much at all. Right. But they were like, looking back to when I did play, and I played really well, and that's the impression. And I got one solely because even though I wasn't fit often, they saw what I could do when I was. You know what I mean? So don't slack off, like, ever slack off, because like you say, it's a short career, anything can happen. You don't know what tomorrow brings.
Yeah, that was a similar thing to me, because I was injured for quite a lot. Since some of my scholarship contract was probably down to that as well. I was injured quite a lot, especially when I was younger with backs. And then I'd done my knee right at the end. I already had my scholarship, but I was injured. I went into my scholarship injured to start with. I was the same. So obviously, like, the lasting impression that you had before that obviously still stands with you. Obviously, if you have a long-term injury, like, it's a little bit more difficult.
I was talking to Kurt the other day, and I was just saying, do you not think it's so like now? What are your injuries like? Would you say they've reduced a bit?
Because I can control them a bit more because I'm going off how I feel. Like, whereas in training, when you're at Newcastle or you play when you're full time, you have to turn up every day and train. But I know if I'm a little bit sore one day, I can just back off a little bit or just.
I remember, right, and I used to disagree with him at the time because I wanted to, but I knew he was right. So Stevie Weir, legend, used to say all the time. He used to say, "We're not like young lads, especially us. We're not conditioned to play that much football.
Mm-hmm.
That's why there's so many injuries." And I used to think, "Oh, shut up, man! Like, of course we are, but you're not." And then when I found the gym. And I used to get injured all the time with just stupid injuries. And I think that was totally down to muscular imbalances, weaknesses. Mm-hmm. And when I started the gym, so when I started learning, I learned properly from Alex Kitchen. I went with him and I learned techniques and I was doing heavy compound lifts. Fingers crossed, touch wood. But since then, I haven't had like a soft tissue injury. I haven't had anything like that. And it's almost because like it's made my glutes, hamstrings, quads bulletproof. Like, because I've been in the gym. Like, young lads, gym is the most important thing. You need to condition yourself. The amount of training you do, I think it's personally too much. And like you say, now you can take them rest days. Whereas when you're playing for someone, you train when they tell you to. So you need to make sure you're in the gym, conditioning yourself, doing those heavy compounds. They're going to get you strong.
Yeah, I think a lot
I don't get injured, really.
Yeah. In football as well, there's like old school mentality that you don't need to lift weights and stuff, but people don't understand how it goes. Obviously, you need to learn the technique. Technique's the priority thing. And then once you learn the technique, and then you can start loading it.
Turn strength into power and you're an absolute animal. Like, look at Adama Traore. And I'm sorry, but he definitely does weights, and I think he's just double bluffing everyone.
He has to. He's huge.
Double bluffing everyone. Yeah, I think he's saying it so other people don't do weights, so he can keep being a beast.
Yeah, he's hammering them. He's definitely got a bit of creatine as well. He's got.
Like, he'll be on the double load, 10 G's a day, man.
But like, do not neglect it because there's so many benefits to it. Like to build strong tendons as well. It's not just about building muscle. It's your bone structure, increasing bone density, increasing your tendon strength, like everything. And I've kind of like.
And I look good as well. You know what I mean? Look
good, feel good, play good, mate. I'm all about that. All about it.
Confidence, especially in football. Like, I feel like I play better when I rap better when I've got like a fresh trim and that. You know, like.
It's psychological. Honestly, I felt like if I had to say that even a good week of training in the gym and stuff, I feel so much better in myself. Like, confidence wise, obviously there's the side of like endorphins releasing. Yeah.
And how do you feel when you skip a few days? You just feel so crap about yourself mentally. You feel like totally fogged in the brain. Like, just like it's like cliche, but like you have less energy when you don't train.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? 100%. It's like it's a routine thing. If you're out with that routine, like you've lost that momentum for the week.
I do it. It's for mental health more than anything. For me, I've got to do it.
Yeah, so
I've got to do it. Keep myself sane.
Yeah, we're gonna touch on that. So obviously after Newcastle, you went to America. If you don't mind talking about it, kind of obviously your time in America, the States, and then kind of a little bit what happened afterwards and the tough times, because we've both been through dark times. Just talk a little bit about it if you don't mind.
I'm obviously always open to talk about it. I've done a podcast with If You Care Share as well, and I talked all about it. But I've had two different experiences. So I would say that when I got back from America, I wouldn't say I was necessarily depressed, like clinically. I would say that I was just in a shit time because I came back and I couldn't get a job, couldn't go to uni because I was too late. So I was just sitting around doing nothing. Obviously, wasn't getting paid. I was getting like my 60 quid a week from heaven, but like didn't have a job or anything. So I just kind of felt like at that time when I came back from America, it was more just like worthlessness. Like I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. I didn't know what I wanted to do with myself. And I think everyone gets like that at one point, but you do get there on track. I look back at it, it was actually a good thing because it gave me time to procrastinate, and that procrastination turned into productiveness because it gave me time to think of what I wanted to do, but really, really think about it, what I wanted to do. So I would say that experience was different. So it gets a bit like deep. So about like a year ago now, I was it's really hard to explain unless you've been through it, but so I was prescribed, I take 100 milligrams of sertraline a day, which is an antidepressant. It was totally irrelevant to football reasons why I like how depressed I was. So about last June I got put on antidepressants, and like it, Brent, like honestly, I would not wish it upon my worst enemy. Like I think you think at times, oh, I'm depressed and that, but you know when you've got it, like for months, like I stopped working, I stopped playing football, like because I physically couldn't. Like there was a point. There's pictures on my phone. I'll see if I can find them and send them after you. But like I looked like a twig, like because I couldn't eat. I lost all my appetite. Got the point for 2 weeks in July, like I couldn't even watch the telly because I had all these like there were horrible thoughts in my head, and I just couldn't. And like I was, when you try and fight them, they just grow stronger. And it was like the worst time of life. And I would say I struggled like that for like 5 months. And it was at the point where I'm waking up every day and I'm just like praying that tomorrow is better. And it like get the end of the day and I'm like thank God this is over. The only time my mind's at rest is when I go to sleep. Like I literally lost all sense of excitement. Like it was because obviously it was like it was severe depression, and it was from OCD, so I got diagnosed with few types of OCD. It's not like I've got to rearrange my desk and that type of OCD. It's like these like I get intrusive thoughts. I don't know if you know what that means, but like intrusive thoughts are just kind of thoughts that you don't want in your head. And then you think, why am I thinking of these? Like, I just don't want to think about it. But that's when they grow stronger. And they're not nice. And I had that type of OCD, which led to depression and anxiety. Like, panic attacks. I remember when I was a PT working in a class, and I just halfway through just broke out into tears because I was that anxious. And Danny had to go and cover it. And I just went home and like, it's real, and I know that there'll be people listening now who totally relate. And if you like the feelings that you get, I can't even describe. Like it is literally it's an illness. It's nothing to piss about. I feel like people these days see it as a trend to say like, oh, they've got mental health issues, and it's quite disrespectful to people who actually do. Like they play the depression or the anxiety card, but they don't even know if they've got it. They might just be, everyone has a shit time. I always say this. I'm probably rambling on, but like it's just hard to explain. Like I always say this, that the difference between depression and having a shit time is depression is literally an illness in your brain where you're like, what's the word? So you're clinically depressed. You have chemical imbalances in the brain, which don't produce enough serotonin, which is the happy chemical. Which like that, it's an illness, but it's an invisible one, and that's the killer. Like I remember looking at people when I was bad, and like I used to just think it's mental how you all just think I'm fine. Like you look at me and you think I'm fine, but if I had a broken leg, I'd have like everyone would be like, "Oh, I hope you're all right." Like, look after yourself. But when I try and explain how I felt, because it was invisible and you couldn't see the physical effects, people would just be like, not really take it serious. It got to a point, I'll just be honest, where like it was like September. Sorry for anyone close to us who's listening, because it's probably a bit traumatizing to listen to, but I was literally standing on the Tyne Bridge. Like, I'm not embarrassed to say it, because like I'm still here, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I was literally like crying my eyes out. Luckily, some bloke came up to us and calmed us down, took us home. But I just remember, like, I don't actually I was fully like, when like you're drunk and you forget things.
Mm-hmm.
I remember driving that. It was like it wasn't me in my head. I don't even remember walking there. It was like I just wanted to do it. Like, and it's not like I didn't want to like kill myself. I didn't want to do it. But like it was
You
kind
want to
of
free yourself pretty much from
yeah,
it.
you just want to get rid of the pain that goes on every second of the day in your head. You want to just, it's like, and people might say it's cowardly and stuff, but it's like people just see it. No one who does it, I don't think many people who attempt suicide, they don't want to kill themselves. They just, you get so desperate to find like a solution, because there is like, you feel like there is no other solutions. And I think that's why people do it, because they just think there's no solution. They just want to stop to it. But for anyone listening, you just got to persevere. Like, and it might sound like, oh, persevere. People listen think I am persevering. I still feel shit every day. I felt like that. If you told me I'd feel like this a year ago today, I'd literally slap you and say like, shut up. Like, no, I won't. Like, you feel at the time, I am in this, like, and I just can't get out of it. Like, it literally felt like I was stuck. But like now I look at it, and as weird as it sounds, but it's just how your outlook on life. I look at it as a positive experience, because now, it wasn't at the time, but I am just like, anything materialistic and stuff. Yeah, it's nice. All the like fancy things, whatever that you want to get in life, to me now doesn't matter. I'm just grateful that I'm happy. And like, I remember thinking when I was bad, like, why did I ever stress about money? Why did I ever stress about these stupid little things? Because I was actually happy then. All I wanted to feel is happy. I used to say that. I used to cry about it. Like, I just wanted to feel happy. It was like frustration. Like, really, really, really shit times, and I would not wish it upon anyone. And like, I always say it, and I'm not even bantering, like, sometimes it's easier to talk to people who you don't know. So if anyone's actually struggling, just tell us and talk to us, because it's not even like it's not like I'm just gonna be like, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Like, if you tell us that, I'm gonna try and give you like ways of how I cope with it. Like, I know people always say, oh, well, if you're depressed, just like go out and do exercise or whatever, because it like releases the hormones. Yeah, it does. But like, sometimes you are that depressed that you actually can't. But don't put that pressure on yourself. If you feel like that, that's fine. Don't put pressure on yourself, because if you start saying, like, I remember it started making me worse, because I was forcing myself to do things, like forcing myself to still go to football. I remember like when I was back in heaven, like, I was just walking off the pitch crying because I couldn't do it. I used to go and hide in the changing rooms and that, just pure anxiety. I didn't know why, because just these thoughts in my head just totally overcrowding. And like, I think once I took that pressure off, I started to get a bit better when I just accepted, look, it's fine. Like, I can't eat at the minute. I'm struggling to train. I couldn't train. Like, I just couldn't focus on what I was doing, and I just kind of had to accept, look, take your time. Like, you can't do this. You're not well enough to do it. But just put yourself first, and gradually. And I mean, like, and I'm sorry to tell people who are listening who might be going through this, but it takes so much time. It really does. Unfortunately, there isn't a quick fix. And I know sometimes it's not what you want to hear, but it's not what I wanted to hear when I used to get told that by people who had similar. But it's true. You've just got to keep every day, just do one thing that you might like, or just try and like, just put yourself first. People put pressure on you, like, oh, you've got to go to work, you've got to train, you've got to do this, you've got to do that, and keep yourself happy. Sometimes you just physically can't. You know what I mean? I was that mentally bad that I was actually like physically ill. Like I was getting stomach pains and ulcers in my mouth and stuff, because, and like I was dehydrated, I was skinny, my face, my complexion, like I'm quite a tan, like my complexion's tanned, like I was totally like pale, like I literally had like little bags under my eyes, like, you know what I mean? And it has that effect on people. And I've never actually explained this to people, how bad it was. And I just hope that people now realise that mental health is serious. Like it's the biggest killer in the UK for men. Do you know what I mean? How mad's that? That there's things like alcohol, smoking, drugs, like horrible diseases, yet the biggest killer in the UK is suicide. You know what I mean? So I think people say there is a stigma around it, and there is, but I do think it's getting better. I think that I would never talk this openly about it, but now I do, because like I want other people to think that they can open up about it, because I always say, if you broke your arm, you're not arsed, are you? You'll go to town with a broken arm, and people will just be like, oh, what happened to your arm? And you'll just tell them without thinking, oh, like it fell off a wall or something. But like when you're depressed, I think it would be great if people could just start saying, oh, like, look, I'm going through a shit time, and like I just think I'm a bit depressed. And it would be nice for the people you're telling to be like, I'm sorry to hear that, mate, rather than think you're begging for attention. Because the last thing I wanted when I was bad was attention. I never replied to messages. I was never on my phone, because that, like, I didn't want attention. I just wanted to get better. You know what I mean? So it's totally insulting for someone to say that you're looking for attention when you're struggling with mental health. And I hope people don't say that, because that can really break someone. And I know it's hard for people to understand, but because not everyone goes through it. But even if you don't understand, just try. You know what I mean? Just try and be a nice person and have that kind of, what's the word? Have that empathy for the person, and just, you don't know what they're going through, but understand that they're hurting. Do you know what I mean? So that's a bit about that anyways, because I'm going on.
No, that was powerful, mate. That was very powerful. I appreciate you talking about that, like, because I've never heard it. I didn't know the full story either. It's the first time kind of hearing of it.
It was, I don't think people realise, but like, because obviously I haven't told anyone to the extent it was, but like, it was like, it was just hell, like, literally. And like, I just can't really describe it. And it was frustrating for my family, because that's like what makes it worse, because they don't understand why you like that. So then they get frustrated. They're like, I don't know why you like this, just be happy in that. And you're like, I would if I could. Do you not think I want to be happy? Of course I want to be frigging happy. Like, that's like, who wants to be depressed? Do you know what I mean? Like, if I could just be happy like that, I would, but unfortunately you can't. So for anyone listening, it takes a lot of time, a lot of perseverance, and you're gonna have shit days. You're gonna have days where you think, I feel a bit better. You'll not feel amazing, but you'll feel better than you did the other day. And then you'll have a little dip, and that's not a full relapse. So don't think, oh, you're back to square one. You're not. It's fine. You're gonna have, it's like that, but you get there in the end. And now, like, I look at myself, and like, I'm very critical of myself. I'm very harsh on myself, but I am proud of like kind of how far I've came, and I'm doing everything I want to do now and I don't have these negative thoughts. I just dismiss them, and I get on with life, and I'm happy, and that's like the main thing. So
yeah, mate. I'm gonna say there's a little lyrics I listened to your music videos. There's a little lyric that I wrote down, trying to make peace with the war that's in my mind. Like, that's something like, anybody who's going through that sort of thing, there's always going to be, I feel like there's always going to be that battle. Like even once the war's over, it's never really over. You're always going to have like little spells where it just creeps back in. These thoughts are in your mind.
It's like trying to make peace with the war that's in my mind. And then negotiations, like a treaty of the size, going back and forth like Nadal and Federer, trying to get the devil on my shoulder to sign.
There's the full lyric, mate. I love that. But it's true, like how do you, when it kind of creeps, because I'm the same, I get things that like pop into my mind, you get yourself down. Obviously, I was never down, luckily I was never down that really, really dark. I was in really dark places.
You froze there, sorry.
Oh, never mind. We're back on. Now I was going to say, I think that like there's things that pop into my mind. Like I've been through some shit times. I don't think I was close to, I would say, depressed, but I don't know, I might have been, but I think there's people who are worse off than me.
No, but I'm going to stop you right there. You shouldn't say that, because yes, there is people worse off than you. Yeah, obviously, you've got like, and it's horrible. There's third world countries who are like starving, and like honestly, like it's horrible, and like you can use that as a way to say I'm blessed that I'm in a position where I get food, shelter and stuff. However, don't get it twisted to think just because other people are in a bad position that you can't be upset about yours. Do you know what I mean? So if someone's in a worse position, use that as a like positive to think, oh well, actually I should be grateful that I'm not. But don't get that twisted with the fact that you now can't be upset because like there's people worse off than you, because you can. People you sometimes you get upset about the stupidest things, but if it means something to you, then that's fine. You know what I mean? Everyone's got their own issues, and like I'm not sitting here trying to tell people that I'm the only one who has issues, because I'm not. I'm just trying to share my experiences, because I'm well aware that every single person deals with some sort of like, even if it's not depression and it might not be severe as mine, but shit times, dark times. And I'm well aware of that. Like, and I'm not trying to sit here and tell people that I'm not. So everyone goes through things. So don't ever let yourself feel like you can't be upset about things because someone else is going through worse. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you've got your own mental battles, like no matter what it is. Like you're on about people in third world countries, they're like their mental battles like, I'm gonna get water today. But you might be worse off, like I don't know, I can't think of an example. Like you might be stressing about a meeting or something like that, and that might get you even more than them thinking about getting water.
Yeah, like that's the thing is, like that's fine though. To stress, don't like I'm saying, like it's fine. You can use it as a positive to think, right, there is people much worse off than me, so I'm gonna relax a bit and think I'm blessed that I'm not in that position, and be grateful for it. However, there's still nothing wrong with being upset if you had a shit day. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you're your own person. You're the only person. You're with yourself every second of the day. And sometimes that little thing in there can deceive you and change into a different person. And like I say, it's almost like two people. It's like a war in your mind. Like I said in my song, like it's like a devil on your shoulder, and it's just feeding stuff into your brain. And that's, you literally feel like you're constantly negotiating with this alter ego in your head or something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Once you can get peace of mind, like having peace of mind, because like I know it's like when they have a million thoughts in your head, you can't focus on something. So I was reading a book this morning, the guy talks about like he was the same, like he couldn't concentrate on things, and like he went to this meditation thing and control his thoughts and stuff, and he did the same walk every single day for years and years and years. I think he's from Dublin, walking down like the main street in Dublin. He noticed once he kind of controlled his thoughts, like little things, like he noticed like certain things on the walls that he's never seen because he was never present. He was thoughts were everywhere because he was never actually present. You can't focus.
But all like that, even me now, like I would love to be more present now, because you're always, everyone's guilty of it. You're always thinking about the past. You're always thinking about the future, but you never actually just appreciating the moment. Like just let your senses come in. Like you say, like meditation's actually really, really good. I used to do it when I was bad, and it did help. So that's something that people, if you're listening, who's struggling, or even if you're not struggling, I used to meditate when I was in a really good place, and I started meditating, and it made us feel even better.
Yeah, no, it's
Like,
good.
it
Controlling
just
them thoughts and like,
relaxes, and like when you do get them thoughts, just let them pass. Like
mhm.
it's just a thought. You get thousands a day.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just a thought. It doesn't mean anything. That's the best thing you can learn. Just don't negotiate with the thoughts. Don't argue. Don't respond to them. Just notice that they're there.
just accept them, accept they're there, and then just let it pass, kind of thing. Don't let it eat you up a bit too much.
I like it, but it's like peace.
Yeah.
Peace.
Right, mate, that was quality, but we're going to finish off to lighten the mood with these 3 questions, which I ask everybody, because we've killed it with the podcast there. It was quality. So last 3 questions, 3 people that you would like to invite round for dinner or go out for a coffee with. Past or present?
Obviously, I love music, so that's like my passion. So, and I'd have to get the goat there, Drake, Drizzy, the guy. There's not a Drake song I don't know, literally. So I get there, and I think that I would just want him there, just because it would just be the coolest thing ever, just to say I've had dinner with Drake. Not even like, I don't even think I'd speak. I'd just let him speak, and I'd just I'd just be in awe. And then obviously I think like I'd be sweet with just Drake there, so I'd probably just like invite like K Russ or something to come, and he can just have a bite.
K Russ.
And then I don't know, someone else, just someone completely like someone completely polar opposite, which like I said before, didn't I? Ross Kemp. Ross Kemp's the boy, man. Just hearing all his like gangster stories, and that would be sick. Like all the things he's like experienced, because he's just got absolute balls of steel, doesn't he? I just love stuff like that. Or like maybe he's like Bear Grylls or someone.
Yeah.
Someone who tells a good story.
Yeah. That's what you want. You want someone who's like, you've got like the knowledge and wisdom, than someone who's just got a load of stories.
Yeah.
Loads of stories,
like,
and then someone for a bit of crack.
Like just someone big bands, like just someone get you like just be like, no way that happened.
Yeah.
Just
keep decent, and then K Russ for the tunes as well.
K Russ can DJ. Probably, if I didn't invite him, he'd probably message us saying like cheers or something.
Yeah, he'd kick off. Right, and then the next one, 3 people you want to train with, so it can be in the gym, football wise, anything.
In the in the gym.
In the gym.
It's got the Brendan Pearsons. Because I know we're doing some really mad specific stuff that I've never, and I'm going to work like some muscle group that I've never even knew was there.
I'll think of something, like, random.
Get you there, probably get like, and then I'd want to contrast some people. So I'd want like an absolute mad bodybuilder, like Simeon Panda or something. Just going to like do muckle weights.
Yeah.
I'm going to have the maddest pump ever. And then maybe he's like CrossFit, like Marcus Philly or something.
Yeah.
Like who's just going to absolutely like brutalizes, like
I like his stuff.
Yeah, and like obviously I used to PT, so I've looked at all his stuff's class, like all the he is like absolute animal, and he puts some really good stuff on as well, like tips about eating and stuff. Like I eat too fast, and he says if, like little things like getting lean, like just put your fork down and chew at least 10 times, and that somehow that speeds up like digestion, helps you get leaner, according to him. Like stuff like that, just like it's really clever. You always learn from people like that as well.
So I like his stuff. And then the last one is one thing that you'd say to yourself 5 years ago.
One thing I'd say to myself 5 years ago, just get on the session. No, I'm joking. Get on the session, mate, and have a good time. Drink loads of, no, I'm joking. 5 years ago, I would just tell myself, just chill out, because I was the biggest stress head ever, and it was like, I need this to happen. If this doesn't happen, what am I going to do? Oh my God. Like, I would literally just tell myself, chill out, just enjoy what you're doing, because if you're not enjoying it, there's no point. And there's been times where I've forced myself to to do things that I don't enjoy. Obviously, me one enjoys running and football and that, but like, unfortunately, you've got to do that. But that's not what I mean. I mean, like, enjoyment, as in don't force yourself to do things you really, really hate. Like just chill out. You're young. I mean, you're a young lad. You've got years ahead of you. Because sometimes, when like 5 years ago, you're guilty of thinking that you've got to do things now because you compare yourself to other people around you who are successful at the same age. But everyone has their own path. Everyone takes their own time. I would just tell myself, chill out, because it will work out, and it's going to take time, son, but you'll get there in the end. And you'll eventually be doing what you love doing, like I am now. And obviously I'm not where I want to be, but I love what I'm doing, and I love it, and I do it every day, and it doesn't feel like a chore to me. I just do it as a hobby. Why not try and make some bit of cash from what you love?
Mate, if you can do that, that's the dream, innit? That's the dream.
So thank you very much for having us.
No worries, mate. I was going to say, shout out your Instagram, socials, Twitter, and whatever you're on.
Even if you're not a big like rap fan, I'm sure there's something on there for you. So Instagram is at jrob.1. Have a look with some of the freestyles. Let us know what you think. I'd like to say I've got some decent bars, but I can always get better.
I'll rate them, to be fair. It's not really my type of music, and I listen to the lyrics, and like you can actually listen to the lyrics, and it's actually very decent. You can connect with them a bit more.
What do you like? A bit of garage? Get on like a garage rhythm and stuff.
Don't mind a bit of that.
I've got some there in the pipeline, bit of garage rhythm. I'm versatile, man.
I like that. But mate, thank you very much for coming on. I'll leave all your Instagram and stuff in the show notes as well, so people can just get on, drop them a message. If anybody's going through tough times or just any sort of questions, if you want to ask me or Jack, leave them I'll leave the link in the show notes and just drop them a message. But that has been spot on, mate. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, friend. That has been.